you also achieved 90 million USD in the first year of operation.
I believe Dubai market was too young and was not ready with regulations to survive such hit. Don't ever get into business too early.
GLG, you're a council member.
Garson Lehrman. I was awarded by Mr. Marwan bin Ghleita and Sultan Mijran at that time, His Excellency Sultan Mijran, for being part of the team which created the crowd fund.
So today we have the pleasure of meeting Mr. Saleh Tabakh. He has 18 years of experience in Dubai real estate market. He's the founder and CEO of the Decentralization Group. Hello, Mr. Saleh.
Pleasure being here. Lovely morning. Thank you for hosting me today.
Thank you. Okay, so Khalij Times introduced you as the youngest developer in Dubai. Can you please tell us about that?
Of course, I'm very proud of that title, which was created by Khalij Times about a few months ago. We all know Dubai. Dubai is the land of opportunities and dreams. In the past, everybody used to say land of dreams and opportunities was USA.
Exactly.
Now, I think things changed completely. Dubai became the place for young people like us to achieve their dreams. And to be honest, I don't think I would have achieved what I've achieved today if I were in any other country. So yes, I had the privilege and the honor to be the youngest developer below 40 years old to start my own company, my personal fund. It's not a family business. It's not a corporation. It's my own company.
Yeah, you also achieved 90 million USD in the first year of operation. So that's huge.
Well, that came from experience, from a lot of errors and experience that I have learned. Also, I think I was very privileged to be in Dubai at the right time, knowing Dubai is always the right place. But I was there at the right time. I started the real estate business very early with Dubai Holding Group. Yes. And I think I owe them everything I know about this market because I started in this business in 2005.
So that's before the first financial...
The first wave, let's call it, of crisis. Yes, correct. I saw that the market was too young. At that time, even we didn't have the freehold law yet. Yeah. It was a 99 years ownership. Then I saw the formation of the freehold law in 2006 and how it formed and the peak of the market in 2007. Yes. Then the crisis that hit us badly in September 2008. I was one of the survivors who managed to survive the market, remain in my job in Dubai Holding till 2013.
Which brings me to another question in this case, because a lot of people, whenever there's a crisis, because I attended one major issue in the world in 2021. I wasn't here in 2008, 2009, so I didn't see it.
It's very different.
Yeah, but
completely different story.
I've seen a lot of investors always complaining about what's going to happen next. But from my experience, what I've learned that the market is really healthy whenever there's a drop because it corrects itself and then the prices goes really up.
You're right. Well, what happened 2008, I don't think it will ever happen again. Okay. 2020, I don't think it was a financial crisis as much as a lifestyle crisis. You know, we all were hit by a pandemic, which was not related to a real financial issue, and that caused an acceleration to so many factors which caused the crisis we've been in. In 2008, I believe Dubai market was too young and was not ready with regulations to survive such hit. 2008 was definitely a global crisis which affected us. Let's be honest, Dubai is no longer a local market. Even since 2006, it started to be an international market. I remember when I joined the market, the buyers were totally foreigners. We didn't have any buyers from the market itself because that culture of buying in Dubai was not there. For people who stayed in Dubai for a long time, they used to rent. And we all know the owners are usually the locals, the citizens of the country only. So when the law was introduced, people did not have the culture of buying. But people from Europe, especially Germany and UK, they had the culture of investing overseas for taxation issues and return of investment. So majority of buyers at that time were from abroad. We got a lot from US, a lot from Germany and UK. And majority of them, if not all of them, almost 99% of them, they were not resident in UAE and they were not interested even to move to UAE. They were just interested to invest overseas. And that's the reason why when 2008 happened and the crisis started in Goldman Sachs in US and then affected the entire world, we got a lot of people who were unable to continue their payments. Yes. And that's what caused the slowdown. So it came at a time where we were not ready. From 2011 onward, Dubai learned the lesson. And the banks learned the lesson, and we got much strict regulations in lending, and much strict regulations in qualifying the buyers. Because in 2008, people bought properties simply they can't afford from banks who didn't have enough cash to even fund it.
Exactly.
It reached as crazy as that banks, some banks, which not banks, financial houses in Dubai, which they don't exist now anymore, they used to lend you 99% of the value of the property.
Yeah, so basically, take the property.
Exactly. So people who had 1%, they used to buy, and these people, they don't have the fund to continue. And when the crisis happened, people didn't have the money to buy again and rely on the resale market, and simply the banks.
I believe developers learned as well from this, and that's why now the payment plans are really tight. It's not a very long payment plan, which is something, for example, from my home country, it's normal. Like you have a 7-9 years payment plan, and I believe this is affecting the market a lot.
Absolutely.
From my point of view, working in real estate, the harder the payment plan is, the more stable the project.
That goes back, in my opinion, definitely developers had learned, but I don't think it's because the developer had learned. It's because of RERA.
Right.
Me as a developer today, I'm very well aware of the regulations. RERA today have very strict regulations to allow you to develop in Dubai. In the past, you could just buy a land and next day you start selling. Today, you can't do that. RERA forces you as a developer to at least have 50% of the value of the projects available with you, either through fund, putting it in escrow account, or by actual constructions on ground. So that's what happens now. It eliminates a lot of developers that don't have the cash flow to survive.
Exactly.
So you as developer, if you're able to reach 50% of the project value or construction, you're on the safe side. So when you start selling, first, you're pressured in cash, so you have to get a very tight payment plan, which means you qualify the buyer even more. Plus, you're on the safe side. Project's already at 50%. You only have to collect 50% to continue. So even if the developer had any cash issues or simply internal crisis, RERA will be able to take over that project, hand it over to another developer and continue.
This is more safe, again, for investors as well. And that's why we're seeing a lot of international investors in Dubai. London is, UK's market specifically, is now number one investor for second year. So I've seen a lot of developers opening offices in London. What do you think about that?
To be honest, I was recently impressed exactly what you're saying. Being connected with so many big developers in the market, seeing how active they are again in the international markets. Not just in UK, definitely is always an interesting market, especially that we managed to restore the trust of what happened in 2007 and 2008, and they believe now the regulations are much better. London and other European countries like Italy also was surprised how much traffic is coming from Italy.
Third, I believe they're the third now.
Yeah, but the reason why UK is interesting and the UK market is interesting for people to operate there and bring investors over there. People think today Dubai market is expensive. Well, it's expensive if you think about it locally. But as I said at the beginning of this podcast, Dubai is no longer a local market. It's an international market. Let's take an example of one-bedroom apartment zone 3 in London. I'm not going to even talk about zone 1 on zone 2. If you sell that one particular property you have, one-bedroom apartment, zone 3 in London, you can sell it approximately at £1 million. £1 million today equivalent to 4 to 5 million dirhams. With that amount, you can buy a nice 4-bedroom villa. You can buy a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment in Palm Jumeirah. So comparing to the international market, which we are part of, and it's very important to understand that we are today part of a bigger market. We're no longer a local market or a regional market. We're today a global market. We're still extremely attractive. First, from price point. Secondly, from the fact that we don't have profit tax on real estate available, or duty tax or stamp duty tax. And the 4% that we pay for transfer is the lowest.
They have stamp duty tax, council tax, profit
they
tax.
pay tax on the profit they make from selling their property or even buying property.
And even inheritance tax and capital gain. Like
we don't have that. So it's safer for them to invest in Dubai, get a solid 5 to 6% net return of their investment, even if their focus is not on ROI, it's focused on having their money in a safe place. We know what happened in banks in Switzerland, in Germany, in Spain. So even these investors, they feel keeping their money in the bank is no longer safe.
So this is something that I noticed in the UK, for example, because the interest rate of the banks went really up in the past year. Like they were paying 5%, which is the central bank, and up to 6% whenever you're taking a mortgage, while your return of investment is from 3 to 4%.
Yes.
And from there, I started to think, like, a lot of them are thinking, like, if I got a mortgage in Dubai, which is I'm going to pay 50% or 40%, and the bank is going to give me the next 60, I'm paying 6.75 according to the banks here, and I'm getting more return of investment, 8%. Somehow, 8% you can go up if you're renting as a holiday home. Depends on the price point as well. Yet, you're still getting money. Like you're getting 2% or 3% on your investment.
And you're holding an asset.
Yes.
Even if you assume that the asset will never increase in value, you still have a saving. So yes, I'm never against lending. I always believe that banks are a great tool. And that's what Warren Buffett always used to advise. Like, why are you worried to get leverage from the bank. Actually, I started my business from getting leverages from funds and banks. If you are able to calculate your income correctly and make sure you're not overexposed and have a very clear calculation of your expenses, of what debt you have in any other sectors, getting mortgage is a great way to save money and have saving. So yes, I'm always supportive to that. And holding an asset by itself is revenue generating, either from renting the property or leveraging it when you need money. And that's what I have done. When I started this development company, I didn't have money to raise to build my first shopping mall, which I have now, which I have developed. So I raised fund. And that fund helped me to create my first property, which I still hold as built-to-lease property. But this property, after it was completed, now I leverage this property with other funds to fund my other real estate projects, and it's getting successful. My plan with 5-6 years, I'll be able to close, pay back all the fund that I have and start building my projects from my own.
So you have a community.
Profits.
You have a community of townhouses, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
We all know today people move, especially post-pandemic. People wanted more privacy and have less populated areas. So there are a lot of trends goes toward villas and townhouses. Townhouses and villas are different products in my opinion, because townhouses are the alternative to apartments. While villa is just a villa. It's a different completely product. So that pushed me to look for finding lands to build townhouses, and it's not very easy. But how I wanted to stand out, especially with the trend that everybody's building townhouses at the moment, I try to create something unique and niche. That word probably overused, but by everybody, but I'm trying to prove it by fact. I built the largest townhouses available in the market. My company is a boutique company, and I always want to remain a boutique company, which tries to offer an extremely limited number of units available in the market. So I started with the first 30 townhouses with 7 different types. So I have limited availability, which makes the property holds its value for a longer time, because the competition resale market is too low. That was the first important aspect. Second aspect, building small number of properties per year give me the privilege of being able to focus on details. And that's what I believe I'm proud of. I always tell my clients, and when I launched my first project, I said, I will deliver a property for you as if it is my own. I can do that simply because there are limited number of units. So when I delivered 30 units, they've been well inspected. Every single property has been looked as an individual unit. While bigger developers, no matter how big they are, when they will deliver 30,000 units per year, there is no way on earth that you will be able to maintain the quality on that level. Especially that we don't have anymore that size of construction companies that they can deliver for you such product without having so many subcontractors. That's why when you go to large projects, this is my personal experience, you see a lot of differences in quality between phases.
Exactly.
You don't get the exact same finishing everywhere. You get
every phase, the phase after is better, because again, they take care of the details, they understand what's happening.
That's what I learned from the market. I try to remain boutique and offer that to a very niche market. These people that they want to live in their own properties, not to invest. And this is the kind of audience I've attracted. I've sold 30 villas, 30 townhouses. I delivered them now, and all the 30 people are going to live in these townhouses. None of them has.
And definitely now they're willing to buy again, or they're going to give you
that's the circle that I'm trying to close. Now I'm about to launch my second phase on the same properties, and recently I acquired land to build a G+9 building. We are benchmarking now with a lot of properties in London and Paris to come up with something extremely unique and also different. That's what I believe in. Well, this came, again, going back to Dubai market and focusing on that element, what I've noticed pre-2008 and post-2008, if you want to go back to that very important topic, pre-2008, we had only very limited areas where people are developing. It was Dubai Marina, JBR, downtown. And they're all very high-end and attract a very specific type of audience. What happened post-2013 specifically, especially because of the Expo and so many other things, people in Dubai started thinking long-term. And that forced the developers to be more diverse. So now we have affordable properties. We have mid-range, we have high-end, we have ultra-luxury, we have the beachfront, you have the community properties. So now Dubai market finally being able to cater all needs. If you're a resident in Dubai, you have a family, you have the right property for you. If you're a foreigner and you just want to invest just with the return of investment, you have something available. If you want something for capital gain, you have something available. And that's what gives the stability to Dubai market. And this is why today I can't talk about Dubai market overall. I need to break it down. if you noticed, a lot of talk recently about luxury properties, and that's where the peak happened in increase of prices.
Yes.
While there's still properties when you go, especially toward Dubai land, and let's call it the new Dubai, the prices are still extremely reasonable, and you didn't get that spike.
Yes.
So if you're looking for something sustainable, you have. If you're looking for something to make quick return of investment, also you have that. And this is the beauty of why Dubai is different now. Addition to that, the regulations and the strict regulations in lending and developing. I think this creates massive stability in the market, and I don't think 2008 can ever happen again.
Okay. I have a question regarding that, because you got your education in the UK,
Yes.
right? So basically, whatever is happening in the UK, in order to walk or to drive for 2 miles, you're going to take 30 minutes. And that's why people who comes from international market, not specifically UK, international market, European market in general,
True.
if you tell them this property is 20 to 35 minutes from Dubai Mall, for example, or
you're
Dubai Marina,
surprised.
they're very, that's really good. While here, our Arab countries in general, we believe that 30 minutes is
It's
a
too
long
much.
distance.
I'll tell you why. I have attended once a conference when, at the early of my career in Dubai Holding, there was a very important people, our chairman at that time, who got a message from the ruler of Dubai. The ruler of Dubai vision in 2007 was, I want to decentralize Dubai.
Yes.
Which means they wanted to create a sector that can stand by itself and self-sustainable. In every area in Dubai, you have schools, you have college, you have universities, you have warehouses, you have offices, place to live. So you don't have to travel too much, because every community in Dubai today has its own sustainable and entire services. It's impossible to tell what's downtown of Dubai today. Yes, there is a
Totally
brand
agree.
called downtown. Let's be clear. That's a brand.
Totally
It's
agree.
not the actual downtown, because downtown once was there, and then downtown became Burj Khalifa. But today, where is downtown? You can't tell, because every area in Dubai is self-sustainable, and it's sufficient for the people living in it, and well studied based on the income bracket, based on the type of demographics of the people living in that area. They offer the right shopping mall, the right brands, the right school that is affordable to them, and so on and so forth. Palm Jumeirah today, one of the most luxurious properties, it's self-sustained.
Exactly.
You have your own shopping mall, you have your own services support. You don't really have to leave Palm Jumeirah much if you want to live there. If you live in Dubai land, you still have
And
great
the Mac
malls.
Hills too, now you won't leave it. There's not, why would you leave? You have
Absolutely.
everything inside it. And for me, the Mac Hills 2 and Dubai South,
You have everything available.
everything is
Mega
available.
malls, you have...
and affordable to people who want affordability.
Absolutely.
And if you want more luxury, you need to go.
You didn't get that
closer.
in Europe for two reasons. First, you're talking about very old cities that are very difficult to change and reshape. Secondly, they've been well established long time ago on a very different fundamentals. While Dubai is a young country, it's like a white canvas at some point in 90s and 80s that you can paint whatever you want on it and start all over, learn from other countries' mistakes and do something even better.
And speaking with you is so interesting. I have a lot of questions for you, but
Please,
I can
I'd
keep
love-
on going.
No problem. I'm happy to.
I really can keep going.
So it helped us to create Dubai the way Dubai needed to be. And,
Exactly.
and that's why Dubai is different.
Okay.
Because it's a modern city by all means.
Yeah. So how, this is a big question that a lot of people would want to understand. From employment to a business owner or a developer, how did you achieve that?
Definitely. First, there are two elements. For you to know that you want to do that. It's very important that to understand that you have what it takes to do that. And the right time. You can't do it too early and you cannot do it too late. You have to be first working with a big company. I always stress on any entrepreneur, like they graduate and I want to be a businessman. Well, you can't be a businessman yet. You have first to start being an employee. No matter how rich is your family, no matter if you have a family business, don't ever get into business too early. It's important for you to work with international or big local companies first, because that's when you learn discipline. This is how you learn how to be organized. You learn so many things. And I was very fortunate that I started my career with one of the largest developers in Dubai, Dubai Properties, which they spend so much money on us to send us for international trainings and give us a lot of courses to get us and to be better. I've probably attended over 40 different courses with the group, all paid by the company. And this is the advantage of working for a big company. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, first you have to work with a very, very big company. That's a very important factor, that first you have to have the will. Secondly, you have to have the knowledge, practical knowledge, and working with someone big. Don't go to small companies if you want to be an entrepreneur. You have to work with big companies. Thirdly, and very important, having the right infrastructure in this country that allows you to start your company very easy. Today, you can license a company in 1 hour. So that's the easiest part. The licensing is the easiest part. It's not really difficult. And what I believe, with a massive demand that the market has in every little sector, you have a chance to be an entrepreneur. Me personally, how did I start doing that? I saw the peak of the market. I saw the downside of the market. And I've gained the experience. And I decided, like, you know what? It's the right time for me to move out and start my own company. I was a developer, but yet it was impossible to leave a development company and be a developer. So I started my first job and first business as a broker. So I started my brokerage company. I built the knowledge of being a developer and knowing what clients want and how to deal with developers. And I started my first company as a brokerage company, which lasted for 7 years. So it was not difficult to start the company. It was very easy to license. RERA was also regulations very clear how to become a broker. You just have to go through a couple of courses, pass an exam, and then start your own license. So Dubai, better than any other country in the world if you want to start your own business. But it has its own risks and chances, because when you're an employee, your mindset is very different.
Totally
and that
agree.
takes me back to a book which changed my way of thinking, which was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I think that book helped me to become a businessman. It shows you the mentality of an employee and a businessman. When you're an employee, you have a specific salary.
Yes.
Everything you learn is how to spend it. Because you start the month, you know X is your amount. How do I spend it? This is allowance for transportation. This is how much I have to pay on my housing. This is how much you pay for food, going out, etc., shopping. But when you're a businessman, you stop thinking how to spend your money, start thinking how to make money. And that's a completely different way of thinking, because you don't have that particular income that you have end of the month where you rely on and you think how to spend it. That moment you have to change your mentality completely and think how to make more money, and you never bother about spending anymore. Because you work harder, you make more money.
Exactly.
So the mentality is very different. So if you want to be a businessman, you have to have that strong mind understanding. You will definitely fail at the beginning. If you're able to take that hit and you have enough fund that you've saved when you were an employee to survive for maybe 6-7 months, maybe more, without an income, then you're good. You start that. But managing expectations is very important. It's not a walk in the park. It's not an easy thing to do.
Exactly.
Is it impossible? No, but needs so much determination, self-discipline and confidence, and started at an early age where your responsibility in life are not too much. The moment you grow older, you have a big family, you have kids, you have too much responsibility. It's very difficult to do that.
Very difficult to do it. And I noticed something, because you didn't start your own brokerage until you did work with developers.
For a long
you
time.
started like
Again,
very-
knowledge, market, database.
Exactly.
Yes.
So a lot of, from my point of view, like I started my brokerage after being in the market for 10 years, not before. And I had a specific situation that made me start my own company, because I was moving from a company as a sales director to another company as head of sales, and then COVID happened. So the only way to survive in Dubai, specifically that I wanted to maintain the same lifestyle that I had, is to first work with a developer to learn exactly what do they do inside.
And what they want
Exactly.
from a broker.
And then brokerage to understand, am I gonna be able to survive if I open the company? And then I opened the company, and then I took it from there. Nowadays, everyone thinks that opening a real estate company or brokerage is just something that, okay, let's make money.
Very interesting what you've mentioned. The issue today that everybody wants to be a broker. As per statistics, and statistics are not accurate because unfortunately there's so many brokers who are unlicensed and not even, they don't even probably have a visa, some of them, unfortunately. And RERA now is putting so many effort to start stopping that. And they're controlling it pretty well. We got 60,000 broker available in the market of 15,000 licensed company. The best month we had so far in the market was last month. We got 16,000 transaction, but we had 60,000 broker available in the market. So you have about 40,000 broker, they didn't close a single deal.
Didn't do anything. Yeah.
That's very risky and dangerous because you have 40,000 desperate agents that they couldn't close any deal. So they will start hurting and ruining the market by trying desperately to close any deal, say anything to the client to make them close the deal.
Totally.
And that's very dangerous. So if you want to start your company, you have to understand that the market today has a very specific size. You have to cater on the 10 to 16,000 transactions a month that are happening in the market, competing with 60,000 available other brokers. So no, if you don't have the quality and the niche and you can be different, don't get into that business.
So your advice is to stand out, understand the market better, because a lot of brokers,
compete to so many people. People came from different backgrounds. People came from international markets with great backgrounds. So you really have to be different. That's why a lot of brokerage companies today are focused on international markets, which is very smart. So if you don't have that niche, if you don't have that unique, different idea, then you can't just simply start that business. I always say don't follow the trend.
Yes.
Unlike what most people say, because when you follow the trend, you're too late.
Yeah.
Like if
Everyone
everybody
did
today
it.
is doing it and you want to do it too,
You won't catch
you're
up.
going to get lost in the crowd. So you have to be very, very different. You have to create your own different, unique niche or different market. So you can simply start that business. When I started my brokerage company in 2013, the market was not as crazy as today, and I had my very good contacts where I signed my first exclusive contract with a big developer. We made over 2 billion dirhams of sales in a few years, and that helped my company to grow very fast. So I had a very clear vision and a target to have my brokerage company working on exclusive project. We never done resale. We've never done retail. Our niche was work only on exclusive projects, getting my experience as a developer to deal with developers and help them with my knowledge to how to market, how to do the contracts, the SPA, payment plan, collection. So I created a full-fledged company which was helping brokers from A to Z, not just selling, signing contracts, collecting money,
gives you credibility as
snagging,
well, understanding everything like.
So that was my niche.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a niche, you just want to be one among the 60,000 that are available in the market, think again, especially that this is the trend today. So you have to be very, very different. Yeah. While in my opinion, there is a very big segment of the market that has not been tapped yet, which is crowdfunding, for example. Crowdfunding is such a beautiful tool. I was very privileged, and I think it was in 2016, that I was part of the team in Dubai Land Department who formed that regulation.
Yeah.
And I was awarded by Mr. Marwan bin Ghaleta and Sultan Mijran at that time, His Excellency Sultan Mijran, for being part of the team which created the crowdfund in Dubai. I think crowdfund has not yet reached the area where it's
people still don't understand it.
Yes.
They are scared of it. So basically when we speak about
the regulations are very good, but it's a very good market to tap onto smaller ticket investors who they see how much money people make in real estate market, but they don't have enough fund to
this is what I tell them. Put a small amount, understand how it goes. If you like it, you understand it, then put more money. Because nowadays, a lot of companies started doing crowdfunding, and they are very, like in Dubai.
I still think there's a huge market in crowdfunding.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
There's a huge and still untapped. So if you want to be in that business, think about what's missing in this business.
Are you planning to do something about crowdfunding?
Well, I am working on that as a developer. Yeah. I want to be launching a new platform in the building that I'm about to launch. I want to launch an opportunity for crowdfund investment. I'm still looking and exploring in the market of companies that we can rely on to partner with, especially international companies, to create crowdfund opportunities in my coming project, yes.
So, because when I was, again, in London, I understand that crowdfunding is more popular there than here.
Yes, they have more education on that. I still believe there is not enough of awareness going on around that particular area. I think it is a really beautiful business, and it will.
I already invested. Both two companies in Dubai.
I'm an old-fashioned thinker and investor, and for me, crowdfund versus cryptocurrency, I'll always go for crowdfund. I
totally agree.
It's backed by something physical that I can have.
And it's going to, it's saved, the government makes sure that your money is safe. At the end of the day here, the rules are very strict.
And in my opinion, you will make less profit, but minimum risk. Exactly. The higher the profit is, the higher the risk
is.
So yes, people made fortune from cryptocurrencies. People lost fortunes in cryptocurrency. So I'd rather invest in a place where it's more steadier and has less profit with much lower risk than getting exposed in the market and losing everything I have.
Totally agree. I'm 100% with you on that. So GLG, you're a council member.
Garson Lehrman.
Tell us about that. That's big. That's huge.
It's interesting. It is the largest consultancy group in the world. It's based. It's Garson Lehrman Group. They're very well known of being the largest consultant in the world. They hire experienced people from all over the world to help get their experience across the different markets and different worlds. So I was privileged about 10 years ago to be contacted by them and being appointed as a council member, where I provide my consultancy services in different projects around the world, in Singapore, in UK, and it's a great way to be connected with different markets and connect to different investors and developers from all over the world. And of course, it enriched my knowledge because what I believe, the professor in a college or a doctor who teach you, they learn as much as you do. And for you being part of such consultancy group, when I prepare for a project to give my advice and research, I have to read a lot and research a lot. And that helps me and benefit me as much as it benefits my client. So I always advise people to never stop learning and getting any side business or a part-time job. Even I'm a developer, I have my own business, I still serve Garson Lehrman because it forced me to learn more and explore my horizons and open up. I believe we always have to learn from different markets. We always have to know what's going on in the world and bring the best out of it and being unique.
This is something like, again, from my experience, not everyone knows that. And this is something like very, very good and smart from you to say it to people who are watching. Because, again, when I sit with new brokers in the market and we're speaking, for example, about what's happening in Paris, and they tell me, what does that have to do with here? And I'm like, it
Dubai
has everything.
is an international, global. You have to think like that.
Yes.
What's happening in Paris affects what's happening in Dubai. Let's give a very clear example. We saw the market crashing in Paris and London, in so many other places in the world due to world political situation. That benefited Dubai. Why? Because Dubai is a forward thinker. Sheikh Mohammed always has a forward thinking. He always thinks ahead. During the pandemic, if you remember, every speech by Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed or Mohammed bin Rashid were about what's after the pandemic. While everybody in the world were thinking what to do now. They were thinking, okay, what are we going to do after 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 30 years, while we're during the worst crisis that happened in the human's history, in modern history. But still they're thinking what's going to happen later, how we benefit from what happened in the pandemic, how we attract investors post-pandemic, and that's why Dubai is different. If you want to be in Dubai, you have to have the exact
mentality.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you tell people who want to join Dubai real estate market, and what do you think about companies that nowadays are not training their brokers to stand up?
Well, going back to the point of having very highly competitive market, if you want to be long-term in this market and you want to survive, you have to train your brokers of taking care of the interests of their clients. I believe always brokerage business is going to be available, because you as a buyer, if you go to a developer, you're dealing with a sales. I'm a developer, and I'm not supposed to say that, but this is the truth. If you come to the developer sales team, they will try to sell you what they have, and they're trained to say whatever they're saying. But when you go to a broker, a very qualified broker, and that's how you should be, you're an advisor. You're comparing different properties to cater to the need of the client. So you have to gain that trust of client, knowing that you are going to offer them whatever suiting them, not with developer who pays higher commission or paying you extra bonus or benefits. So when you go to Sony shop, you buy a Sony TV. But when you go to, let's say, a department store that has all other TVs, that advisor tell you, okay, this TV has higher quality, lower quality, higher price. So you trust that salesperson that they will compare different TVs for you to get the best that cater for your budget, for your needs, and whatever you're looking for. You have to have the exact same thinking as a broker. Yes. As a broker, you have to be very transparent with your client, offering them all options, even if the benefits from developer to developer are different. Because you have to know, Dubai market today is no longer young. The buyer sometimes is more educated than the broker. So you have to have that knowledge and transparency, that you have to understand you're dealing with someone who knows the market maybe better than you. So if you want to train your brokers, train them to be honest, train them to understand a lot of math, investments, and how to calculate investments, how to calculate profits, loss, opportunities, risk, and being very clear with the client who has amazing access to information online. RERA releases a lot of information. You go Property Finder, Dubizzle, you can get all the information you need. So you have to be very honest and transparent, and knowing that your client is very well educated. So if you don't invest in your staff, your company won't survive for a long time.
Okay. One last question from me, because I believe it's very important to ask. Now, as a new developer in Dubai, with what's happening, a lot of investors would say, I want to invest in a big company. But while from my point of view, Dubai Land Department made it very clear and safe to invest in any new developers.
Absolutely. If you're a developer that's licensed by Dubai government, and you as an investor, I'd highly advise you before visiting any developer office, when you hear about developer, go to Dubai Rest app. Simple as that. Check their project license or not, they have an escrow account or not, what's the status as per RERA of that project. Feel free to visit Dubai Land Department office and even inquire about developer. They'll be in a very open, transparent manner telling you everything about it. So if it suits you, go ahead with it. Big developer, small developer today are competing with each other. That's why bigger developers are forced to maintain their qualities and probably do a lot of marketing as well. Because smaller developers are able sometimes to compete more with bigger developers due to their lower cost and ability.
We've seen one of the developers now, the small developers in the past 10 years are now becoming one of the top developers in Dubai because of that.
If you don't mind mentioning names, is it fine?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay, I'm a developer, I do a lot of research. One of the developers to attract my attention was Ellington,
Yes.
for example. And Ellington is a very good success story. And frankly speaking, me and my company, we try to learn from their success. And I'm not ashamed of saying that we learn from others.
It's really nice.
Because they started very boutique and their niche was focusing on quality. And they managed in a very short period of time to compete with the largest developers like Amar, Dubai Properties, and Damak. So yes, the opportunity in the market is there. The platform is available for you to stand out if you are different. And Dubai Land Department give the safety and the regulations for buyers to trust whoever they're dealing with. But very important, make sure you're very well educated about the law. It's very accessible through the app and other channels. RERA is very, very welcoming to anybody to come and visit their office and understand more about the market. And of course, going with trusted broker is essential before you go to any developer, so they can do their due diligence and the research on your behalf. But yes, I think the market is very open and everybody can compete with everybody. It's an open market, open opportunities. We're an open economic market, very important to know. It doesn't matter what size and who's backing up that developer. You can still compete and you can still have the chance to stand out.
So, Mr. Saleh Tabakh, it was a pleasure meeting you. I've learned a lot. I wish we can have another time that we can meet and speak more about Dubai market. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I've learned a lot.
I have the honor, and thank you for this opportunity. Hope to see you again. Thank you very much.